Welcome back. Today we're going to do a quick one on a brand new TWS by QCY. This one is their MeloBuds Pro. So this is what it looks like up close, and the shell is not, or the case is not quite flat white. It's a bit shiny, metallic, pearlescent. One of those adjectives will work for this one. But yeah, it's not flat white, and it's going to be hard to see it on camera, but it's I guess if we look at it close to the shell. So the shells are more of a flat white, so you can kind of see the difference between the two, but there's definitely a shininess to the case, which is actually pretty cool. The design on the shells themselves, lollipop style, Q-tip style, whatever you call it, but it's a half in-ear style TWS and very familiar. Nothing new on the design. All the new things are inside and the technology that they put into it. And typically those things show up on the box, and no different with the MeloBuds Pro. So up here, you're starting with the high-res wireless LDAC codec. So very high-resolution codec, about as high resolution as you're going to get. And down here, you can kind of squint and see it says 46 decibels of adaptive ANC. So these two things are the two main what is special about this set, and we'll kind of jump into it, and we'll start right there. And I think that was my first point. So what is special about this particular MeloBuds Pro, or what's QCY's specialty here? Most definitely it is the adaptive ANC and ANC environmental modes. So for those of you who haven't spent a whole lot of time with ANC, this retails for about $45, and you could probably find it for a little bit less. Typically at that price point, you get ANC on or off. There's not a whole lot of customization to it. QCY had actually added some customization to it. They do have modes, so you can actually set the ANC mode to indoor, commuting, noisy, anti-wind. If you're like me and you use TWS indoors occasionally, I think the indoor was actually pretty good. Typically with indoors, if I'm sitting at my desk, it's the typing, right? The clicking of the keys is something that it actually goes away with ANC. It's kind of the first thing that I notice. Or you might have a TV in the background and you notice that if you're indoors. But yeah, indoors is actually a pretty cool mode. This is the first set that I've actually heard that had an indoor mode, so I thought that was pretty cool. But the real guts and what is new about MeloBuds Pro is what they would call here, and these are all their words. So they say the adaptive ANC auto adjust noise cancellation to adapt to your ear accordingly by analyzing your ear canal structure and how you are wearing it. The ANC system contributes to a wide frequency range, about 20 to about those upper mids, about 2500 kilohertz, with maximum ANC depth as high as 46 dB, as I mentioned before. And that does feature 6 microphones and a wind noise minimizing design. AI-based voice pickup technology ensures clear calls by canceling the ambient noise and enhancing your vocals. So a ton of smarts to accomplish what, perhaps a billion-dollar company who sells earbuds for $200. These are a lot of technologies trying to accomplish similar things, but at a price point, that is drastically less as I said, in the $30 to $40 range. So I think this design has always been technically challenging for ANC because it's half in ear. It doesn't get a great seal. It gets a sort of seal, but you always had more environmental noise or the environmental or passive noise making it through the seal, which is kind of okay, as opposed to a full in-ear design like the Bud style. And that was a more isolating style design. This is sort of half isolating. And then to do ANC when you have more environmental noise making it through, it's always been a challenge for this design to do that. And as I said, billion-dollar companies can pull that off. Down in the $30 to $40 range, it's been a kind of, not a struggle, but it's been an evolving way to do it. And this is QCY's evolution of how they're dealing with it. So kind of a combination of this, right? So you always had these manual ANC modes. Depending on where you are, you can manually select them. And then the auto-adjusting adaptive ANC is essentially doing that in real time, listening to what's going on behind the shells, what's in your ear, what's being picked up on the microphones, and trying to adjust all of those in real time and dynamically. So very, very cool. Like I said, that's kind of a really expensive thing going on. A lot of processing, a lot of smarts on a device that doesn't actually cost a whole lot. So yeah, absolutely. I've tried quite a few designs in this, and as I said, the ANC has always been challenging. it's just, it kind of works, kind of not works. It just depends exactly what they talk about. It's how you wear it, how it sits in your ear, and how much noise is making it through. And the 46 dB, like up to 46 dB, is exactly what it talks about. Sort of in the best case scenario, that's what it'll be. But yeah, this I was kind of surprised how well it works because I've tried designs that do it, and yeah, I'm kind of sold that they are heading down a path and they will hit lots of success with their ANC, and it's going to be a great selling point for this particular model. So there is transparency modes as well. So if you're into being outside and being aware of your surroundings, again, this is another thing. At $30 to $40, you tend to get a transparency mode, yes or no, on or off. This one does have 6 levels of transparency mode, so you can adjust the sensitivity of it. It does have a vocal enhancement. Again, that is a thing that I use on my Samsung buds. They have the same kind of levels of transparency mode. Those are not $30 to $40 earbuds either. So again, this is QCY addressing some features that you find on more expensive models, but bringing it down to a price point that is more affordable. So some of the sound specs on this one: 12mm dynamic driver, LDAC for high-res codec, as I said, and spatial sounds and spatial sound modes. So again, something that one of these features that is appearing in more application thing and more on the application side, a little bit on the hardware side, but this kind of psychoacoustic mode of trying to make the music sound like it is all around you, to be 3D and immersive. There's been a few attempts at it. This is QCY's attempt at it. I think they're all kind of okay. Not really sold on any of them. I've only tried a few of them. It's okay. I mean, I think it'll get better as time goes along, but this one also does 8.5 hours of playtime. So you do get a battery in the case, and you can extend that as well, but that's what you get at a shot there. So sound-wise, this is what it looks like on the graph. And again, this bass curve, very typical of this style design of buds. Why? Because for the same reason I just talked about. The seal, it's a half in-ear design, so the seal is okay. So you tend to overcompensate on the bass, assuming that there's going to be some bass leakage because of how this person is wearing it. So you tend to boost this just a little bit over. If you were to swap these tips out for very ceiling tips, you would notice this more. That is a kind of a heavier bass sound, but as it is with their tips, you sort of don't really notice it. It kind of sounds just about right. And then you bring that down to just about where the mids start. So you have a very clean transition from bass to mids. That works for general purpose movies, games. It also works for music. Those of you who like very clean mids, that's exactly what they are doing, but it tends to work for other things that you might listen to as well. And that's why these are more of a general purpose style sound signature. So dip those hard, cut across into the mids, very clean mids, and then rise. Kind of this is where you sort of rise, kind of a music style rise. That's the Harman curve and the dotted line. So they rise to just under the Harman curve. That is a slightly relaxed version of treble, but very extended here. So yeah, this is one of these sound signatures typical for TWS, but works across lots and lots of things: gaming, podcasts, movies, music, calls, and you get a very nice upper range for music as well. So nice bass, nice upper range treble that's not going to fatigue you, but has enough energy to keep you engaged and have some fun. Exactly what this one does very well. So that is what I got on the MeloBuds Pro new TWS. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and I will see you next time.